Hola estudiantes de Español 2000 and welcome back for another exciting week of Spanish grammar. This week we will be delving into Chapter 10 and I'm excited to share that thanks to our in-depth study of the subjunctive mood during Chapter 9, we fortunately can go ahead and cross those things out on our list this week. So we're really only here to talk about formal commands, so this should be a rather short video. So you've already tried influencing other people by using the subjunctive tense in a dependent clause. So you said, insisto en que usted tome su medicina. I insist that you, formal, take your medicine. Well, and that's great, but a more formal, a more direct way to tell someone what to do is just plain old, take your medicine. And we're going to learn how to form those formal commands this week. So back in Spanish 1000, you probably learned how to do two commands where you tell someone to speak. And for that, we use the bottom left box, the third person singular form. So hablar became habla, comer became come, etc. You already sort of know those informal commands. Now we're going to talk about formal commands, otherwise known as usted and ustedes commands. Fortunately, these are exactly the same as the present subjunctive conjugations you already know. Okay? For example, quiero que usted consulte el médico. So we're saying that you should consult the doctor. I want you to consult the doctor. You can shorten this subjunctive expression to just say consulte el médico. Consult the doctor, right? Another example, es necesario que ustedes hagan ejercicio. It's necessary that you all exercise. Well, you can just say exercise. Hagan ejercicio. So, fortunately, it's very easy for you to formulate these commands already having some knowledge of the subjunctive. Just to be clear, with each of these, we are going to form the yo, drop the O, and then add the opposite ending. So that means that our AR verbs, like hablar, are going to use an E if we're making an usted command, or an EN in the event that we're making an ustedes command. Our ER and IR verbs are going to use an A for usted commands and an AN for ustedes commands. For example, if we were doing the verb hablar, we would form the yo, hablo, we would drop the O, which leaves us with HABL, and we're going to add the opposite ending. So having been an AR verb, for the usted form, we're going to say hable, and for the ustedes form, we're going to say hablen. And you can see those for you there. Okay, so you're still using the usted box for an usted command and an ustedes box for the ustedes commands. You're just swapping the endings. Rather than using an A, you're using an E, and rather than using an E, you're using an A. So just a little backwards from what you're used to. Of course, all of those verbs that are irregular in the present subjunctive also have an irregular command form. Okay, so for example, ser in the usted form is going to become sea. In the ustedes, it's going to become sean. Ir will become vaya and no vayan, etc. So make sure you take note of those irregular subjunctive verbs we've already discussed. In the event that you want to make your command negative, so instead of talk, if you want to say don't talk, you just throw a no in front. So for the usted form, we would say no hable. For the ustedes form, we would say no hablen. That's very easy. Your book gives you two examples here. No guarde cama más de 2 días. Don't stay in bed for more than 2 days. No tosan durante un concierto. Don't cough during a concert. So you can see this was an usted command with guarde from the verb guardar that used the opposite ending. And this was an ustedes command, tosan from the verb toser, again the opposite ending. And they just threw a no in front to make it negative. If you really want to show emphasis, something else you may consider doing is adding the actual words usted or ustedes in your command. This is typically done after the verb. Okay, so notice we're telling someone to be careful, tenga cuidado. If you want to really specify, you really need to be careful, tenga usted cuidado. You just throw the usted in there, okay? No fumen en el trabajo, telling a group of people, you guys are not allowed to smoke on the job. And you can be very specific in showing emphasis. No fuman ustedes en el trabajo. No smoking on the job, okay? So that's pretty simple for most students. The part where people tend to get confused is here when we start doing our attachments. Now, I taught you a little rhyme to help you remember these, and that rhyme was indirect before direct, reflexives first of all. That still holds true even with these commands. So when I say referring to attachments, you're going to attach your object pronoun and your reflexive pronoun to a positive command. Okay, you may attach them with positives, but with negative commands, when you're telling someone not to do something, your object pronoun and your reflexive pronouns go in front of the verb. For example, váyase de aquí. You go from here. Go, get out. Váyase de aquí. We're attaching it to the end because it is a positive command, what we refer to as an affirmative command. Tómele la presión, por favor. Take her blood pressure, please. Again, the le is an indirect object pronoun in this case, referring to her. So, tómele la presión, por favor. Take her blood pressure, please. It was attached because it's a positive command, and you can see accents on the A and the O here because we're adding an accent mark to the stressed vowel when attaching. Okay, like I said, if it's a negative command, your object pronoun or your reflexive pronoun will go in front. So instead of váyase de aquí, if we want to tell this person not to leave from here, no se vaya de aquí. Don't leave. If we want to tell you not to take her blood pressure, instead of saying tómele la presión, we're saying no le tome la presión. And technically there should not be an accent on the A or the O here. So no se vaya and no le tome la presión. A few other examples that your book provided. No se tuerza la rodilla esquiando. Don't twist your knee skiing. No le hagan una radiografía a la paciente. Don't take a x-ray of the patient. Okay? In the event that you have both an indirect and a direct object in the same command, you still cannot lelo, lela, lelos, or lelas because of the phonetic spelling. The L in the le will change to an S. Therefore, it will become celo, cela, celos, or celas. You may not lelo, lela, lelos, or lelas. Don't forget that. That still applies here. Here's a little comprehension question for you. It's asking you to use the verbs mejorarse, to get better, respirar, to breathe, or seguir, to follow or to continue. You're supposed to use these three verbs. They'll be used only one time in each of these blanks. I'd like for you to take a moment to pause the recording here and give this a try. Okay, hopefully you've had a moment to try those. Here we have Señor Martínez, Mr. Martínez, blank profundamente, por favor. We're saying blank profoundly or deeply, please. So, Mr. Martinez, you should breathe deeply, please. So we're going to take this verb respirar, and we need to conjugate it in the yo form. So we get respiro. We're going to drop our O, respir, and then we need to add the opposite ending. So you should get respire. Señor Martinez, respire profundamente, por favor. Breathe deeply, please. Señorita López, Miss López, blank mis consejos, something my advice, y va a sentirse mejor. So something my advice, and you're going to feel better. We're probably saying follow my advice. So we're using the verb seguir here. So follow my advice. We need to form the yo of seguir, which in this case is sigo. Hopefully you remembered that stem change from E to I. So sigo, follow. You're going to drop the O, ending with sig, and we're going to add the opposite ending. So this was typically an IR verb. So rather than adding an E, we're going to add an A. So you should get, Miss Lopez, siga mis consejos. Follow my advice. Siga. Okay? And then finally, in this last one, we're talking to two people, both Carlos and Roberto. So when talking to two people, Carlos and Roberto, blank pronto, our only option left is mejorarse. Now, you may recall from Spanish 1000 that verbs that end in se are reflexive verbs. So our reflexive pronoun of se in this case is still going to remain se, because we're talking about two people. We're going to take what's left of mejorar, chop off our AR, and add an O to form the yo form. We need to now drop our O. And we're going to add the opposite ending. So it was an AR verb, typically. Your bottom right, your ustedes box is going to be an AN, but we're using the opposite endings here, so it's going to be an EN. So se mejoren, and remember, this is a positive command, so your se should be attached to the end, ending up with mejorense, placing an accent on the O because it is the accented syllable here. Mejorense, get better soon. Mejorense pronto. I provided another example here from your book just to give you a little bit of additional practice. Remember, with all of these formal commands, we are forming the yo, dropping the O, and adding the opposite ending. Here, you see a conversation between Roberto and his médico, his doctor. And here, this person says, Señores Cruz, ustedes tienen que hacer algo por su salud. So, Mr. and Mrs. Cruz, you all have to do something for his health, or for your all's health. It says, no blank tan tarde, and it gives you the options of cenar or guardar. So don't dine or eat dinner so late, or don't stay so late. In this case, we're going with cenar, to dine. We're going to take cenar. We're going to form the yo, ceno. We're going to drop the O, leaving us with CEN. And we need to add the opposite ending. Remember, we're using ustedes commands here because we're talking to multiple people. In this case, both Roberto and Tomas are being spoken to. So this was typically an AR verb. We're going to use the opposite ending. So instead of AN, we're going to add EN. So no cenen, don't eat dinner so late, and no blank, todos los días después de la medianoche. So don't eat dinner so late, and don't blank every day after midnight. Your options are acostarse, to go to bed, or respirar, to breathe. I think we can all agree we should still breathe after midnight, okay? So we're going to use the verb acostarse here. Don't go to bed every day after midnight. We're talking to two people. Our se, the reflexive pronoun, is still going to remain as se. Acostar, we'll remove our AR. But by forming the yo, you may remember that acostar also has a stem change from O to UE. So our yo form would be acuesto. We can next drop our O and add the opposite ending. So it was an AR verb. We're going to add EN in this case. And you should get no se acuestan. The no in this case must remain in the front because this is a negative command. If this were a positive command, you could attach it to the end, to the verb, but because it's a negative command, remember that your object pronoun and your reflexive pronoun always remain in the front. So no se acuesten, don't go to bed every day after midnight. Okay, I believe that you are understanding how these work, so I'm going to skip on to a few more activities. You may be asked to do something of this nature in my Spanish lab this week. It's telling you to imagine that you are the parent of two school-aged children, okay? And you're giving commands to both of them, telling them both what they should do while you're home alone, while they're home alone and you're at work. So that being said, if you're talking to two individuals, what kind of command are we using? Yeah, hopefully you're saying an ustedes command because we're talking to two people. So your options here for number one are despiértense al mediodía, get up at noon, or no se despierten al mediodía, don't get up at noon. Hopefully you're selecting don't get up at noon as your proper answer here. Number two says desayunen papas fritas, eat french fries for breakfast, or no desayunen papas fritas, don't eat french fries for breakfast. Hopefully you're selecting this one. Okay, so make sure that you can do questions such as these. Another example, it tells you that there's been an accidente, an accident, and that your roommate helped, quote unquote, helped, by cleaning up papers on your desk. Unfortunately, he mixed everything up and your homework was ripped up into shreds accidentally. So you need to put it all back together. So it's going to give you a broken sentence that you need to rewrite. Obviously, in this process, you also need to share a command. So it gives you en el restaurante, in the restaurant, fumar, to smoke, no, and ustedes. So we're trying to say that you all should not smoke in the restaurant. So obviously this is an ustedes command. Our verb here is fumar. I'll use a different color. Our verb here is fumar. We need to drop our AR, forming the yo of fumo, remove the O, and we should add the opposite ending in this case, referring to ustedes. We're going to get no fumen. Don't smoke. No fumen. Remember, our no goes in front because it's negative. No fuman en el restaurante. Okay. Another example. I want to do, this is supposed to be number 3. My numbers got a little messed up here. I want us to do number 3. It says, el arte, tocar, no, and usted. So obviously arte is art, tocar is to touch, and no usted. You should not touch the art. Now, you may be very tempted here just to say no, remove your AR and tocar, add back an O, no toco, that is the yo form. Drop our O, you want to add the opposite ending. So normally an AR verb, you would think I would add an A, but I add an E. And you would think your answer would be no tose el arte. However, remember that tocar is a car verb, and you may recall verbs that end in car change to que. The C changes to a QU in this case. So we get no toque el arte. Don't touch the art. Okay. Really quickly, I'd like for you all to pause me for just one moment and give this last one a try. It gives you manejar, tomar, no, ustedes, and después de mucha cerveza. Go ahead and pause and give me a try. Okay, hopefully now that you've had a moment, you've taken some time to decipher each of these words. We have manejar, which is to drive, tomar, to drink, and no ustedes después de mucha cerveza. So you're trying to say, don't drive after drinking a lot of beer. So let's reorder our statements as they are. We have no, don't, manejar, drive, after, después de tomar mucha cerveza. Okay, we're getting closer now that we've reordered our words. This says don't to drive after to drink a lot of cerveza. So we want to say don't drive. We're using an ustedes command. So manejar, we're going to form our yo, drop our O, and add the opposite ending. So instead of adding A in, we're adding an E in. So no manejen después de tomar mucha cerveza. Don't drive after drinking a lot of beer. It should be manejan. Okay, hopefully you are beginning to feel much better about the formal command process. Remember our general rule for these one last time? Form the good yo, drop the O, and add the opposite ending. Hopefully you know that. Remember these are the same as what other verb form that we've learned? Yes, hopefully you're saying the present subjunctive. It should be the same. Okay, good luck to you. I hope this has been helpful, and have a wonderful week, everyone.